Yeah, this is a horribly sad story. We talked to Louis Stafford's mom, who just wants people to know what kind of person her son was, and she wants to give everybody watching a warning. A big smile, an even bigger heart.
He was so emotional. He loved cats. He was a soft-hearted guy.
Louis Stafford.
He was a good friend. I never known him to be a bad friend to anybody.
A manager at the Taco Bell on 23 Mile in Chesterfield Township. Louis' big heart apparent when he noticed one of his employees was coming into work with wet clothes. Dijon Drake admitted to being homeless, and Louis, being Louis, offered to let him stay with him at his apartment, less than a mile down the road from the Taco Bell.
He had a good sense of humor. He was a big brother. He was a younger brother.
But a short time after the employee started staying with Louis, his behavior became combative towards his coworkers and towards Louis, according to Louis' mother. Louis told Dijon he could no longer stay with him at his apartment. It was Saturday, July 29th.
That's when the fight broke out. The dude didn't want to leave. He just refused to leave, and he pushed Louis, and Louis fought back and beat him up, and so he shot him.
Louis Stafford, just 27 years old, died at a nearby hospital.
I will never understand the universe and how God chooses who leaves and how they leave.
Police arrested 24-year-old Dijon Drake on the scene. He's being held at the Macomb County Jail on a $2 million bond. A message Louis' mom wants to share.
You just cannot let your heart overrule your safety. The world has changed, and it's the luck of the draw. You don't know if you stop and help that person, what's on their mind just because they're in need.
You heard that, right? Don't let your heart be overruled, especially for people that is always in dire need, because some of those same people that you help may turn around, backstab you, or even blackmail you, or are set out to kill you. People has to understand there's a thin line between life and death. Any mistake that you make without the right judgment, without the right precaution, without God being there, it can cost you your life dearly. It's unfortunate what happened to the Taco Bell manager. He looked like he was a kind-hearted guy. I don't know too much of his history. I'm only gonna go by what other people said. But it's sad to know that you can't even go around anymore like that to help certain people out. You can't. There's some people who are homeless who doesn't like black people. And there's some people who are homeless that doesn't like white people. And other people who are homeless, some of them could be very selfish or even ungrateful. Oh, you only gave me $1. You couldn't give me 20. You don't think there's some people like that? You don't think there's some people who are so spoiled? They're like spoiled brats, that they believe the world revolves around them and you must help them, like they're God's gift to man, like they're a God. It does not work that way. Be humble and even be thankful if someone is willing to go out of their way to help you, give you the chance to have a better opportunity at life. The man took his own manager's life over confrontation. He acted on his own emotions. From everything that you heard from the news, he was confrontating with the associates at Taco Bell and even the manager that took you in. You're confrontating with him. He gave you a chance to get your life together, get on your 2 feet, turn your life around. And what did you do? You blew it. because you were acting on your own emotions. And I'm not trying to be funny, but from the mugshot of the murderer, he looked like he was about that life. He probably was doing drugs. Probably, I don't know. But most cases for men that look like him, they're doing drugs. They listen to a lot of drill, rap music that talks about murder, putting a bullet through somebody's body, head, things like that. The mentality with people like this are so warped and so hell-bounding and deserving, right? I keep away from these type of people like the plague. If I have to work with a murderer or work with somebody at my job and they have a past like that and they're still living that past, I mean, they're still, yes, they're still living that past in the present. I stay far away from those type of people. I just keep it cordial and mutually about work. I value my life that much to understand that I have to move smart out here because a lot of people today are moving in ignorance, and that lack of judgment and ignorance and being blind and played like a fool is costing many people's lives. You can't let your heart or your feelings overrule you. You can't. Now these days, people out there does not care about anyone else's life like that anymore. It's just getting more known today because certain places you go to, they give these criminals a slap on the wrist and they let them back out on the street. You don't think many cases like this happens? Yes, it does. There's criminals out there who are out free from a murder that they committed. They're free. Years later, they're free. Isn't it crazy how you have to get a whole bunch of people to fight the court system, go on strike, yell, scream, create chaos, just for the court system to change their minds on the criminal and be like, you know what, the city's going out of chaos. People want justice. It's getting out of hand. Let's arrest the guy and then give him a sentence. Give him a sentence just because, so the rest of society and people can just shut up, could just be quiet and leave us alone. You don't think that's how a lot of courts and judges operate? You don't think that's how laws operate when it comes down to the court system in certain states in America, certain places? Because not every state is like that. People has to understand that from this thumbnail here with the detective, I think this is an actor, with the detective actor, yeah, it's an actor, and the person that's in charge of taking the photos of the crime scene, right? You have to understand the body that's before them, that could be you, that could be me, that could be any one of us. If we made the wrong move, hung out with the wrong person, we're at the wrong place at the wrong time. It's crazy how so many people are blinded by their own judgment. They lack accountability, especially when God gives them another chance and warns them. They don't take what they went through as a warning. If they survived an attack where they're helping someone out, they get jumped, robbed, they're close to getting murdered, God comes in and saves them. They don't learn their lesson. They do the exact same thing. And that might be the last time that God will come in to help. Because there's a lot of people out there, just to be real, who are hard-headed, who does not like to listen, and who can't take no for an answer. Costing your life over doing something you know is best, there is rare cases where, of course, it's avoidable, but in most cases, you can't avoid it. You can help people from afar. You can help people from a distance. I could give my a coworker who's homeless $5, $10, but I could use that money before even giving him that money, buying him the food that he wants to eat, things like that, right? Giving him the money to buy some shirts or a bar of soap, whatever he decides to do with it. And if that coworker that I'm helping, he brings up, oh, hey, I need a place to stay. He got comfortable enough to ask me because I made him comfortable. And that's understandable. But at the same time, what can you do in that situation? You have to say no. They have to go back to their family. They have to go to a shelter. And I don't wish that for nobody, but I'd rather live under the roof of a family or a relative that I know than a complete stranger that I have not much knowledge about. You ever heard of the term where you could truly know somebody for how they are when you live with them? Some cases, you don't truly know anyone until you actually live with them and you stay in their place. That's how you could truly understand and know a person a lot more. Okay? I want the best for everyone in the end of the day, but the video, man, it's just... It gave me a reminder to wake up to reality. Wake up to reality. This world and the people of the world is not your friend. There are users out there who are waiting to use you, snap, and kill you. There are people who has murderous intentions out there because they have the spirit of the devil walking with them. They have a lot of demons that they're pushing to fight off. But many cases, criminals that act on their emotions like this, they are not to be trusted because they gave into those emotions. They didn't surrender to God or their will to God. They surrendered their emotions and will to the devil. There's a lot of ruthless killers and people out there that would rather put their lives first and value their lives first before valuing anyone else's. Seriously, it's real out here. You cannot be going around helping everyone out. You're not a superhero. And there's supposed to be a limit of how far you can help someone. You can't, it's not wrong to keep your distance. And I'm not trying to say to shun them completely, right? You just have to know who to help and who not to help. And you have to know who to trust, especially when it comes down to bringing someone in your place. For me personally, I wouldn't bring no stranger or nobody at work that I barely know to my place like that. The only last people who really came to my place like that was one of my wife's friends, who's no longer friends with her anymore, and her husband. And the last person who I also invited over to stay over was one of my close friends, who I'm no longer friends with anymore. I had family who I invited over. They even gave off the wrong intentions. They could have murdered me and my wife and our 2 kids. You just never know these days. You have to move very cautiously out here. It should have been a nail in the coffin for the guy, the manager, the Taco Bell manager, right? To understand that you can't help certain people out but for so long. Especially with how his associate carried himself. All those tattoos, the mugshot. He looked like he was just straight up arrogant. He did not care. And that's true. I'm just going to be honest. It's not worth losing your life over someone else. I'd rather lose my life for God, but God gave us the knowledge in order to move smarter out here and move better than this. I'm not trying to downplay how the guy died and how he was murdered. Murder is murder, and it's wrong. It's wrong. It's a sin. But all I'm saying is that this should be a lesson for any one of you out there. If you're hesitant in allowing a girl that you barely know because she looks good, or a guy you barely know, right? If you somehow decide that, should I let them stay in my place? You should second question yourself. You should question and ask yourself, is it worth it? There was a man who got murdered from his own associate or his own employee when he opened and hospitality and open arms for him to stay in his place. Just to help him. Just to help him. And look where he's at. He's gone. People need to value their life. And it's crazy how there's some people that is not going to care to listen about this. Not to care to listen, I mean, right? But at the exact same time, there's many people out there who has the mindset where, oh, I'm going to still do what I want. It's not going to happen to me. Oh, I'll do this and that. It won't happen to me. You cannot take the devil lightly. You just can't. You don't know people's intentions. You don't know. Once you put that person in power, in that position, to be in your home where they could feel that they could get comfortable, you open that door for a murder to happen, a crime to happen, and for something bad to happen to you. This is why I don't condone it. I would never, ever invite or allow a homeless person to stay over at my place. I'll help them out as much as I can. And let them know that, hey, you got to stay with your family or a relative or cousin or somebody. And if they don't know anyone, at least see if you can find help from the YMCA or a shelter or something like that. Okay? That's all I got to say. It's just crazy what happened. My condolences goes out to the family who's in pain after their loss, especially the mom. Yeah, that's all I got to say. You got to move smart out here. Though you can't let your emotions overrule you. You really can't. You have to think outside the box and be smarter out here. Not be like how people are in this world. Because there's many foolish people who makes foolish decisions and they face the consequences. And even their family could face the consequences as well if they're exposed to that as well. Okay? I don't wish no bad on no one. I'm praying for people out here to be smart and move smarter than this, especially for those of you who are listening to this video right now. That's all I got to say. Casual talk here. Peace out. Let me know what you think.